everyone, today is the last day of February, and I am excited because I did what I said I was going to do last night. I know, shocker, right? And got episode 3 lettered, finished coloring, lettered, proofread, and it's uploaded to the dashboard. And so we're going to start the today's show off with a launch party for episode 3. And I want to wait till everybody gets in that's coming in. Mainly Paul and Varian. I think we got one or two others that chime in every time. But yeah, so and also today is day 36 of the spending at least 30 minutes a day working on my comic for 100 days straight. I botched the whole 100 days straight thing a while ago. Kind of gave up on the weekends. But it doesn't mean I haven't worked on it. It just means I didn't do an episode. So I'm basically just doing these episodes Monday through Friday for the most part. And trying to make a record of putting this comic together. So for most of the last 30 so days, it's all been about episode 3. And so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and launch episode 3 to the world and then get back to doing some drawing. So I am going to, let's see. Bam, here we are on my dashboard. Victims of Circumstance is what I titled this episode. And we are going to publish it. Boom. Published. So, let's check out the new episode. Victims of Circumstance. Still at a 9.8 rating. Got 35 subscribers. 441 views. We need to get this up into the 20,000s. So still a lot of work to do. Please share the comic as much as possible. And hopefully I can get to at least a bi-weekly showing. So anyway, here we are. Tantalorn, planet of lost souls from across the universe. A planet where anything can happen, including this. You know. Spaz looks at the bike. And he is off. Now, episode 4. Spaz comes back into play. I'm really looking forward to telling this part of the story. Coughing and hacking. Got the logos put in where they're supposed to be. Keep a safe distance, Chet. Could be dangerous. Yeah, could be. Just a little bit. There's my little tech readout. Person. I like that. Sharpen your pencils and grab your stencils. That's great. I might just steal that. Didn't those villagers claim they saw a man with the head of a monster? There's those villagers being referenced again. What is that up? What's up with that? It alludes back to other stories yet to be told. I left this panel blank just because I thought it spoke for itself. I think we killed it. I wanted to come up with a unique roar for him. I didn't want to just, swipe Godzilla's Screonk. So, that's what I came up with. And this looks beautiful on the mobile device. So. It's alive. It's very much alive. Looks like we just made it angry. Run for it, Jonah! The Dreaded Dinosaur Man. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I renamed Dreaded Dinosaur, so it's easier to share. And you can watch me on official thank you to Paul there, a regular viewer and supporter on Patreon. This is part of what he gets for his support is a special thank you. Hopefully we'll just add a few more names to that list, and this comic will be fully supported. Anyway, so that is episode 3, and we are time to get to working on episode 2 again. Hope you guys enjoyed that little narration. Oh, which panel did you love? The one with your name on it? Yeah. So here we are. We're transitioning to episode 4, which is what's coming up next. And I just want to give you a little bit of a tour of this episode. So Chet here gets some sort of resolve. He's going to start trying to defend his buddy and their cargo. So he's going to be like, no, don't do it. Stop. It's kind of stupid. And we have this amazing panel, which I can't wait to finish up in ink. Trying to use some more manga-styled influences where they change the size of the character just to emphasize. I really don't want to do the goofy expressions much more than what I did with the falling sequence, but yeah, something like that. And he chomps down on him and throws him into the wall. We're going to work on this panel here because this needs a lot of work. So Jota's like, no, you jerk, I'll get you. Goes for a gun. Has his resolve moment. Notices something out of the corner of his eye. And I'm really looking forward to inking this panel because this is my Venom-inspired panel. I draw Venom a lot, so I wanted to do something really mean and nasty. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And then, yeah, the action is ramped up. That's why it's kind of been kind of a drudgery. And getting through this opening salvo of storyline, and then the whole thing can go into more episodic adventures, more of your classic sci-fi. My big influences are like Planet Stories, Startling Stories, the old pulp adventures back before we invented science and started to think we knew what everything was. You know, Challenge of the Moon Men and The Thing from Mars, that type of stuff. I kind of want to bring a flavor of that. So, yeah, so the action is definitely getting ramped up here. And the second part of episode 4, Spaz will come back into play, and we'll see. We'll get a little bit more into understanding Dinosaur Man as a character. Because, I mean, I'm trying to establish a brand new franchise here, and you got to have good storytelling. You've got to really know your characters inside and out. That's why I spent a whole year writing and just trying to understand the universe that I was building for this. Okay, so we're going to be doing some standard drawing here. Usually I try to get the drawing done outside of it because there's a lot of development involved, and the inking is much neater for an episode to look at. But so here we have, he's clamped down on him in this first panel. So it's like a, and so this is a whip. So he's like, I don't know, a whip nay nay. I can edit that out right. All right, so we need to work on getting a sense of that. And this was just, this is just a him mishmash. So he's hunched down, so he's going to be throwing, so he's going to arch his back up. So it'll be something more like this. And his head will probably be somewhere around here. Arms back. In fact, I want to And it's going to give me checkerboard. So this was the rough was drawn in a different program. So I'm just going to quickly fill a layer with white and just reduce that even more so it's not confusing me. There we go. So probably be arms up, chest is up. Sometimes use Daz Studio just to pose, to come up with poses, and it helps understand how muscles move. So, you know, his shoulder is going to be rolled back more, so his bicep will be up here a little higher. That's all part of studying. You know, you study the way people move, and in this day and age, you can use really accurate 3D models as opposed to hiring somebody to come in and stand in your living room with a bunch of lights that you got on sale at Home Depot. I want to try to keep this flow going, so maybe we'll have a hand, you know, kind of here. So he's like, you know, just kind of act it out a little bit. Another advantage of drawing digitally. Don't like the position that is in, or if you drew something incorrectly, you can move it. I want him to kind of be in that He-Man toy pose here. And I'll probably even shrink him down from this. Yeah, probably needs to be. And then his mouth's going to need to follow the angle. I'm going here. That's better. Then Dinosaur Man's head always starts out as a narrow box. I wonder if a side view might be better for this. Just make sure we're pointed in the right direction. So his head's going this way, his torso's this way, so he's really like lunged into it. That arm looks a little big too. Extra beefy. I usually always end up placing the head wrong. Let's move the center of his chest just a little bit. I'll zoom in smaller and use a better pen to work on the hands in a little bit. I just want to get the major articulation points going. Now I wonder if I shouldn't just try to have the whole thing here where he's standing. Or should he be a little bit bigger? So that's our bottom line there. Not quite dynamic enough for my taste. Say, I got an idea for Indie Vault. How about, because there really is, I've been looking for people to submit Dinosaur Man 2 for webcomic reviews. Do an Indie Vault YouTube channel that's just about doing comic reviews. I mean, sure, there's DNC and Yellow Flash and all those other guys that do it really well, but I mean, you could review comics, you could also review webcomics, because there really isn't much being served out there. Is it, you know, on Webtoon, there's thousands of comics on there, so it's hard to sort through. So, I don't know, maybe something to think about. Any tips for an artist picking out a tablet to work on? Yes. Apple iPad Pro. I mean, I kind of regret getting the Surface Pro 4. I'm excited to see what Dell's Surface looks like, because they're making their own thing. But the whole reason I bought a Surface Pro 4 when I did was to get Clip Studio, because it wasn't available as an app. 3 months after buying that thing, they announced that they have an app, subscription-based app. So, yeah, and I think the iPad Pencil, the technology built in that, it's the way to go, because that's for your budget. I mean, obviously, if you can afford it, get a Wacom Studio, portable studio, but I mean, that's a $2,000–3,000 machine. I mean, you can get an iPad Pro for like, what, $900? So I would do that. If you need to spend less, then look at the Surface Pro 4 or some of the others. Well, there you go, Varian. Start a webcomic review channel. Find somebody to host it. Maybe have Krista host it or something. And then there you go. But yeah, so definitely I would say if your budget allows, get the iPad Pro. Wacom Mobile Studio would be my number 2 if your budget allows, but if you need to go lower than that, I don't hate my Surface Pro 4. I just don't like Clip Studio on my Surface Pro 4 because the pen doesn't work well with it. It tends to hang. So even at that, if you get a Surface Pro 4, I got the lowest budgeted model, and I just kind of put up with the hang-ups. So you'd probably want to get a better model. Okay, back to this here drawing. His head is wrong because his head's upright more. And I want him leaning back into this. So I'm going to see if maybe I can get something to help me out here with the perspective-wise. All right, that's a little better. He's more leaning into it, and then that'll help me when it's time to draw over it. Now I can kind of 3D that out and show just a little bit more of his snout, and I think we're getting there. I still think it needs to be turned up a little bit. Alright, so now we need to start working on the rest of this panel here. And he's being thrown into the side of the ravine that Dinosaur Man jumped down. And he's a big, stout guy. So he's mostly taking the impact here. Probably going to be breaking out some rocks and stuff. Can use his ponytail to help sell that he's impacting this. So of course we'll do some, bring out some chunks. His fingers are going to be kind of flailing. He's going to have some bite marks in him too, so we'll do. He's going to at least have several like scratches in his suit. There'll be some tears here. A little bit of blood coming off. Always want to try to draw through as much as you need to. Figure out where his other hand is, so it's going to be up here somewhere. So he keeps losing his blades. So then what I'll do is take these two blades after I get them mostly drawn, and then copy and paste them in here so I'm keeping the same design. Now, what does his roots look like? All right, yeah, they're this Captain America style boot thing. That leg looks wonky. Go away, wonky leg. So if this is his knee coming up here, yeah, it's going to be more like here. See, yeah, that's how drawing through works. We connect the bones. And here's his skeletal system. Once you do that hundreds and hundreds of times, thousands of times, you can just imagine it in your head instead of drawing the lines. That's why people like, watching Jim Lee sketch, for example, which is hypnotically beautiful. He doesn't have to do a lot of the construction lines. I'm doing more than I need to just because I want this to also be instructive. But, he's projecting those in his mind because he's done them for so long when he was learning. So don't feel bad about doing more underdrawing than you need to, because it's all part of study. So here is our canyon wall. Kind of crunking down there, and we'll just have some more pieces. Maybe we'll do some sort of shattering. Like he's hitting that thing hard. So, not a lot of witty banter coming out of Dinosaur Man for these sequences. So there's one knife. And I'll have this other one breaking the panel. I love breaking panels, so do it whenever I can. Now, the question is this extreme enough, or do we need to bring Dinosaur Man back further? So I'm going to cut this one out. I'm going to paste it in, hide it, paste in another one, and then play around with. And I did that because I know if I decide I want to go back to the big one, I have to scale it up again. I'm going to lose some resolution. So looking at that again, I think him being smaller is going to work a little bit better. And I can spread his arms out a little bit more, be a little more extreme with that. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Delete the old one, and then I can have some more going on down here. Maybe change the way his arms are at, like, because I would think he's chomping. He'll be flailing his arms more. So I'd probably be up more like that than anything. Doing those cringy Kirby claws. This foot coming straight out. See, now that's looking more dynamic already. All right. So I'm going to get rid of these lines here. Merge those two down. got rid of the blue line option and I put it back on again, so it's even lighter, which actually is what I needed. So I can get in there and work a little bit more. So this is the edge of the canyon wall. So we're probably going to see more of the canyon wall. Think of our perspective as something like this. Coming out from that middle point as our horizon line. We'll have some more of those sharp background mountains. That, I got inspired by Goblin Valley when I was driving through Goblin Valley. They used it as the alien planet in that Tim Allen Star Trek movie. What was it called? Oh, blanking on it. Turn in my nerd card for not remembering that. So yeah, that panel, this panel's coming together. Looking pretty good. Let's see if there's anything else we can work on. Let's see if I bring this back up to full. No, I don't want that. Full strength. Chomp, looking for the gun. Getting the gun. A lot of this I've almost got enough to work on to start doing inks on it. So there'll just be more drawing in here. I don't know about you. I really want to do this panel. So I think I will. So merge those two together. Delete that. Sort these. All right, so let's see. I think the first thing I'll do is work on this silhouette. So we got him coming into battle. I don't know if I should, should I keep this as a dark silhouette? Or should I draw it in and put all the details and then do like a dark blue to color it? I think doing the dark blue, that's more my MO. I don't use a lot of the darks. So yeah, I think that's what I should do. I think it'll look better. So with that in mind, let's kind of help ourselves out a bit. And I just want to put in some of these details. So I'm just doing a little extra drawing to help me out with the inking, so since I decided to change it from my original plan. Yes, Galaxy Quest, that is it. That is the name of the movie. That was a great movie. Tony Shalhoub was hilarious in that. Fix some of our anatomy issues. I love Dune. And of course, Mad Max films. Yeah. I mean, there's flavors of all of that in here. I don't know if they filmed in Goblin Valley for any of those other movies, though. I don't think any of the Mad Max films. I think those are pretty much all filmed in Australia. The point of Galaxy Quest was they used Goblin Valley. It's got those really sharp uprisings of mountains. Which are beautiful to look at. Yeah, let's see, knife design. I'm gonna make sure that those are the same ones that I have up there. So I think this is just gonna enhance this image more, and it'll be neater to look at. So that's why I should make the change. So I'll merge that down. Convert all that to blue. And now as we're starting to run out of time, I can start on this. Alrighty. So to do things a little bit differently, I'm going to make sure he's on a completely separate layer. So it'll be easier for me to do the color change later. Because I'm going to tint him blue. And Dinosaur Man will all be in warm red tones. So the result of that will be he will come forward and move Dinosaur Man back further. And now I want to watch Dune again. I have the hours to spend. Of course, that's a movie like Dune's like a lot of my favorite movies. I've seen them hundreds of times. Dune, Jaws. I think I've seen Jaws and the Transformers animated movie the most, several hundred times over the course of my life. Transformers animated movie, I know all of the dialogue to. Jaws, I think I need the movie running, but I can spout off all the dialogue for that one too. Now, what did you think of Neverending Story? Because that is a near and dear, you know, for me as a kid, it was that, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, The Last Unicorn, Secret of Nim. I mean, those were the movies when I was growing up that I watched over and over and over again. So I got these knives designed here, so they got basic handles, that's fine. They can have basic handles. So I think I'll draw those in that other panel and then bring them down here and stick the knife blades on. I made my wife watch Dark Crystal, and she hated it. I guess it's one of those things you got to grow up with to thoroughly enjoy, and it's sad that, like, our kids' generation, I don't know if your boy has seen it at all, but they don't have an appreciation for any of those movies. I don't want to get too carried away in the detail. Huh, cool. Varian, I'm just going to have to sit you down. That's what we're going to do. We should do that maybe on our trip down to Orlando. Make you watch those two movies. I know my buddy Josh went and saw Dark Crystal in the theater because they did the Fathom Events thing. I wonder if that's still going on. Interestingly enough, one of the voices for Labyrinth played Lord Chamberlain. Yes. That was Chris Latta, I believe, from Starscream and Cobra Commander fame. So this is his I am rethinking my life panel here. And we're at 45 minutes after, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. So I think what I'm going to do is do some more sketching here on Dinosaur Man and kind of clean up the rough here just to give myself some more info to work with. And I'll be able to get rocking and rolling on this awesome, jawsome mouth. supposed to be coming straight at him, so. No, yeah, street sharks. That's starting to look a little wonky. I think I might need to do a... Yeah, I'm going to need to do a some symmetry ruler to get this exactly how I want it. It's one of those instances where you draw one side better than the other. So I like to keep my options open. Now I gotta think up the anatomy inside of his jaw here. Maybe I should have that little flappy tonsil thing. So that would be where his tongue is. So then more razor sharp teeth. Let me just hide him right now. Now I will turn off the ruler and sketch out the tongue a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little nicer of a drawing than what I previously had. I wanted to show his eyeballs just a little bit from an angle so we can see there's no pupil in there. He's all like raging out. Or spurging out. No, not spurg, he's raging. I don't even know what spurg out really means, but I've started using it in as a replacement for the language of the dumb. Spurg out. Boom. All right, cool. Gravy. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for joining in with me. And it's been a great episode. We had the debut of episode 3, so please share that all over your social medias. Tell everybody in the shop to check it out. Leave some comments on it. Leave some comments on this video. Do all of the things that professional YouTubers tell you to do. Like follow me on all these thingamajiggers here. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure you're still subscribed. And there's probably another one, but I'm just going to say good day. And we'll see you tomorrow. And be knocking out more of this episode 4. Take it easy, guys. Bye.